Hello, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another episode of Touching Base here on Fearless Games.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, very exciting. So, let's start the video off right. Does anybody have any news?
I think he does.
Yes. Battletech. So who's next?
Well, no, but
news. Well, Catalyst Game Labs produces Battletech now. They produce the rules and the books and everything. Miniatures are made by a second company, FYI. They have been in the process. I own a lot of old technical readout books that really aren't that useful for really playing with anymore because they updated the rules and added different like battle point systems and whatnot. So they've been in the process of re-releasing books like that and releasing like packs of books so you get like what you need for a little bit cheaper and everything like that. And what's cool is they also offer, you can buy it in PDF only, or you can get a PDF and the book combo. So you can have it like on, if you have like a PDF
tablet or
your tablet, you can just have it right on there digitally if you want. So you get it instantaneously for cheaper.
nice.
Very nice. Is there any other new news going on?
In a similar vein, they've just announced a MechWarrior MMORPG.
Nice.
I think at this point you can reserve your character's name. I know
Already
you're super
done.
into it. Though by my understanding, they haven't really announced what, is it going to be pay to play versus free to play. They definitely haven't announced like what the technical requirements are going to be. We just know that it's
Coming.
Yeah, it's on its way. It's coming. It's happening.
It's pre-clan invasion for anybody into Battletech, so it's just Innisphere, basically butting heads. Also, to reserve your name for your palace name, you don't have to put any like credit card information or anything. It's just like
Right.
signing up for a forum, basically.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool. Yeah.
It's nice that it's in pre-clan, because clan sucks.
Listen, Freebird Scum, clan are awesome.
The clan are terrible.
They're terrible people, but they're so cool.
Yeah.
So, any other news?
In a similar vein to the internet, unfortunately this isn't great news, or good news. Unfortunately, Spartan forums have been down for about a week. Spartan, of course, is the company that makes Dystopian Wars, Uncharted Seas, and Firestorm Armada. They had a major data overload or something. It says it on the forum. It says, we're broken, we'll fix it, we're sorry. So hopefully that'll be fixed soon.
Would you say they're sunk?
Oh! Like a ship.
I didn't get that.
I can tell you had
That's
that
funny, yeah.
gormless look on your face.
And
That's the man.
it stings for all those people who maybe just starting to get into Dystopian Wars, especially if, for the lucky person who wins our contest, which if you haven't heard of yet, click this bubble right here between my hands and check out the video
He likes it when you poke him.
that we're going to talk about. So, now, I've got nothing for topics.
Oh,
How about we talk a little bit about wargaming?
isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Yes.
But wait, what if some of our viewers aren't playing them yet?
No.
Oh, yeah,
You with me?
yeah.
Like maybe we could give them some tips on how to get into wargaming.
It's like we're mind melded or something.
Yeah, I know,
Same
we're-
thing.
Wait. Why would we want to do that?
So that
So
you
we-
guys would have fun
Yeah.
and play it.
And then
get-
more wargamers.
Which
Right.
would mean more views.
Which
Well-
would mean more subs.
Which would mean people will be happy to play games that they're interested in because we give them advice.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I like where this
You've
is
been
going.
doing this the longest. Hit us with your
He's the
wisdom.
veteran.
Oh. Oh, that's just a name.
Wisdom now.
Oh, okay. Well, the biggest thing that I can suggest to anybody out there is like there's a giant pool of resources to go into it. I learned it through word of mouth from a friend, but the one biggest piece of advice I can give over all my experience with this is to research whichever game you're going into, research the different factions yourself. This way you don't get stuck in the trap of you talking to one or two people and they sell you on one army or group, you then get into that and then you discover this other army that you would have totally have picked up over this other army if you knew more about them.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation where, like, with the Dark Angels, I picked up the Space Marines, and then I found out about the Dark Angels, and I was like, oh, well, I would have picked them if I knew about them, and then, I was in that situation. Thankfully, it was easily fixed.
Yes.
But I've seen it where people have been sold on one army, get into it, they spend like $100, $150, they're ready set to go, and then I bring out an army like, what are those guys? You mean they were in this game this whole time? Oh, and I just wasted all this money buying this stuff because he talked about how cool they were.
And that's a big letdown, which makes many people leave the hobby.
Yes.
And considering economic times the way they are, Always know what you're buying.
Yes, so biggest thing I could say is research the armies yourself. People will sell you on anything, but you gotta have an informed opinion on your own and decide it yourself.
People who play a certain army will be biased towards that army. Remember that.
It only makes sense. They like it.
Yeah, you're gonna toggle what you like.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think though, one thing we should address is some people don't have local gaming stores.
Okay.
Which is
Unfortunate.
sad and unfortunate, but it happens. We're lucky we have a number of local gaming stores, but if you don't, your best bet is, well, one of your best bets would be to, try and find a friend who is also interested. Maybe your buddy wants to get into 40K with you. You hit up the internet, you read up on the game, and then you order like one of those battle boxes, like Assault on Blackreach, for example. So you get Marines and Orcs. And just kind of get into it through that. Try and introduce your friends to it. If you don't have any friends, well, you don't have any friends. What's it like?
How do you do it?
You read the books and you paint the models and
Play it yourself?
Yeah.
Well, it's training.
Yeah.
It's training simulations.
For when the real thing happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sure, you could totally say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Any other advice?
seriously,
What you got?
ask a lot of questions. Doesn't matter where. Ask on forums. Ask a lot on forums. You can always go on a forum. Like every forum for almost every game has a forum in one place or another.
Like Dystopian Wars.
Oh wait.
Wait.
Well, anyways, almost everyone has a forum. Go there, and almost every forum has a link that says where are you or a location. You just say, hey, I'm in this area. Is anyone here to play with? There's almost always someone that can help you out with that, usually. Or if you do fortunately have a store, go to the store and ask questions. Just remember proper etiquette. As in, if you walk in, don't interrupt people while they're talking, especially if they look really serious, and don't touch their models. You open the conversation with, hey, that's a cool model, what are you playing? And then usually they'll just start telling you everything about the game. That's a good way to start.
Yeah.
Well, all good things have been said. A couple of things of note, though, that I would put on top of all this good stuff is pick what you want, not what people say is best in a game. For example, we all play 40K. I like Tau. Most everybody tell you don't play Tau right now, but that doesn't matter. No army is terribly broken in a big game that's successful in a way that you can't play it. If you like a certain setting, a certain theme, a certain race or army, whatever faction, whatever it is, go with your gut, go with what you know you'll enjoy. You're gonna have a lot more fun than just playing the powerhouse.
The same goes for games as well. If you're not into, epic space, wars, 40K might not be for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're more into naval, steampunk, sci-fi type stuff, go for Dystopian Wars. I, for example, don't like naval battles. So BFG, Dystopian Wars, not so much for me. I prefer dudes.
Exactly.
We'll see people actually go when they're like, oh, they pick up the box set for someone's like, oh, don't play that, play this one, it's better. But how do you know they, weren't looking? So one guy tried to convince me not to play Dark Angels because they're like, oh no, they're crappy. And I was like, well, I think they're awesome, so I don't care.
So you can shove it.
Like, don't be intimidated by people playing the game. Just because they've been playing for years doesn't mean they know what's good for you.
Right.
Play what you want to play, and you'll have so much more fun than playing what people want you to play because they're good.
Even losing can be fun if you're playing the army you like.
With
long
people
as-
who aren't jerks.
Yes.
But another good thing for just getting into the army is having picking what you want, getting starter kits. There's a starter kit. A lot of games have starter kits. With that, you can get things from people. Like if you don't, if you bring in a game that is being played or not being played that much, people are like, oh, I see you enjoy playing this game. I play it. Let's play. Or I have a bunch of models that I don't want anymore. I can sell them to you.
Yep. A lot of my whole Battlefleet Gothic stuff has gotten from playing the game with a friend at the store and everyone going, oh, I didn't think people play this game anymore. If you're bringing this game back next week, let me know. I'll have my stuff here. And one person actually outright said to me, he's like, oh, you play BFG? I've got a whole Chaos fleet if you want. I'm not using it anymore. You can have it. And then, we worked out a deal and I bought it from him. So that's always a great thing. Even if you don't see it playing at a gaming store, don't be afraid to either bring a friend and play the game at the gaming store or just bring the models to paint. You'd be surprised you may get more people to play with because they are just waiting to find out someone else plays the game.
Either they used to play it and they couldn't find anyone else, or you might find someone that didn't know about it and is interested. I mean, that's always great. I mean, that's how you get people to play games, is have people find out about the game.
One thing to remember though, when buying used models, buying somebody's old army, if you can, get a look at it before you pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Always.
because, for example, weren't you there was one time you were buying somebody's tank and it ended up not having any treads.
I bought the thing at full price and it was like, oh, it's all assembled, it's magnetized, the whole thing. Half the magnets fell off, it was missing tank treads, and it was glued, there was more glue on it that some of the detail was lost.
Right, so
just be
sort
careful.
of be careful what you're buying, always try and get a look at it. But beyond that, even if you buy something that's something that's used and it's covered in a really abysmal paint job, you can strip it. There's a product called Simple Green,
which is wonderful.
It is a lifesaver.
It is. It smells better than what, brake fluid, which you can also use.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
It smells a lot better,
And
it's
rubbing
also,
alcohol.
Yeah, and it's also biodegradable. And I know for a fact, Simple Green works on resin, pewter, and plastic
Safely.
safely without any damage.
Yep.
It'll even take paint off of green stuff with softening it up minorly. So if you have green stuff sculpted, you can be careful with it and still get the paint off without damaging it too much.
It works very well.
So,
I've used it a lot.
if you buy, somebody's Dark Angels, but you really wanted to play Blood Angels, Simple Green's cheap. You can get a lot of it at Walmart for a couple of bucks, so you can still get your army for cheaper while being able to play the army you want.
Always be careful. Make sure you're actually seeing what you're buying. eBay and things online, you may be caught a little bit off guard. It may be not worth it if it's just covered in if it's just a big ball of glue and there's a model in the center. It may not be worth it to go for that and just get something new.
Right.
But at the same time, remember, these are miniatures. We build them and we paint them. They come in pieces. If it's broken, you just have to reassemble it.
Yeah.
Unless
Glue it back
unless the detail's obliterated by glue and by something else that's terrible, you can always salvage a model. No matter how bad it's painted, you let it soak for a while, the paint will come off, you can repaint it and it'll look stellar. So don't be like, oh man, the stuff I bought's all broken and it's useless. Well, it's in a bunch of pieces anyway. You just gotta put them back together.
Yep.
Alrighty, I think we're going to be running low on time, but before we go, want to thank everyone who's had subscribed. I think we're almost at the 100 mark now.
We were 97 a couple days ago, I checked.
So thanks
you
a lot,
guys.
everybody.
Yes.
Tell your
appreciated.
friends. Again, at the end of the month, we're going to be doing a drawing for a Dystopian Wars
And
giveaway.
let people know the support will show us that you want us to do this kind of thing in the future.
Yes.
Also, if there's any topics you want us to talk about, please leave a comment. That way, if we get comments about topics, we'll look
do our
into it
best
and
to
we'll
cover them.
consider it.
Yeah.
At the very least, we'll cover it in like non-touching based videos, but depending how big the topic is, we can make it a part of a segment. Like they said, tell your friends, tell your gaming club, tell your gaming store. We're all about just getting the miniature wargaming stuff out there for you guys.
Likes and subs.
And is there anything that people are working on right now, like kind of previews for what we're working on?
I'm, in the same vein as discussing Simple Green, I am currently working on repainting all of my black Templar HQs. So once those are up, I'll give you guys some photos, maybe some video of it, because they're gonna look pretty nice.
Yeah? Starklord, you got anything
working
going on?
my first couple of dystopian warships, so we can finally get a game going with you.
Nice.
Should be nice. I mean, that's a big project for me.
Repainting some Dark Angels, I know. I do that all the time, but it's because I got a lot of Dark Angels to repaint. We're doing that. Some Battletech. I know I'm going to paint a cicada mech. If you know what that is, good for you. It doesn't look like a cicada
Bug.
thing. Pretty much just some 40k models and some Battletech.
I'm working on getting the how to play Battlefleet Gothic videos up and running. Starting to go into my Dark Angels army building wise, but my biggest thing that I'm working on is doing a really stellar giant battle report campaign with Battlefleet Gothic. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, fearless gamers, take care.
Peace.
Bye.
Nice.
Any new news other than that?
Oh yeah.
Use your words.
Use
Arf.
Speak, Star Lord, speak.
One of these days you should just do a full episode.
Is
for
Timmy in
me.
the water hole?